Hi pals, my name's Louisa and welcome to my second knitting podcast. If you're not familiar with the structure of these videos, we're going to be talking about finished projects, works in progress and what I plan on making next. It's also quite exciting because we're approaching spring and summer, so if you're looking for any pattern recommendations, stick around until the end of the video. Let's get started, shall we? So the first finished project that I'm going to be talking about is the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit. So if you've not heard of Petite Knit before, she's a Danish knitwear designer whose patterns are so popular within the knitting community. She's just got really classic designs that are really interesting to make, and there is something for everyone on her website, so definitely do check it out. You probably already have, but yeah, this is from her Novice collection. I believe she has two cardigans, this one and a mohair version, as well as a jumper. There might be another one, but I can't remember. This cardigan is truly very beginner friendly. You work this seamlessly in the round. So you will start with the neck, work the shoulder part until you get to under the armpit. Then you will put those stitches on hold for the arm and just work the body. And then once you finish the body, you pick up the stitches for the sleeves. It's so quick, simple and easy. I think a lot of beginner patterns you will knit flat. So you will knit the back, the front and the arms, and you will do that using straight knitting needles, which if you grew up learning how to knit, you will be very familiar with. But for a pattern like this, you will need a set of cable needles. And you're probably thinking, what the hell are these? They look so intimidating. I promise you they are not. They are going to be your best friend. They make completing something like this so easy. And I highly recommend investing in a set of these. I have them in long and in short versions, which just means that you can knit the arms and you can knit socks, anything like that that's quite tiny. It's quite useful to have a short pair of these as well. So you can untwist them, the cables are interchangeable. So yeah, get yourself some cables. I swear they are not as scary as they look. This cardigan was so quick to make. I think it took me a total of 3 weeks, which is quite fast for me, bearing in mind that I have a full-time job and I'm picking this up for maybe a couple of hours in the evening and then my weekends. This honestly flew off my needles. Was very, very rewarding to make. The only reason that I think it took me so long is because I needed some free time to sort out the buttons. Thank you to everyone on Instagram who helped me with button choices. I decided to go with a tortoiseshell button in the end. I wanted something that kind of blended in with the yarn. I think if I went for a plain button, I think that would really catch your eye, and I wanted the star of the show to be the yarn, the elephant in the room. This yarn is incredible. It is the hand painted speckle yarn from We Are Knitters, the Petite Wool. This is the second time I've used the Petite Wool, and it's up there with one of my favourite yarns to work with. It's so squidgy and just lovely. And although it might pill quite a lot, it's just gorgeous. It has this beautiful kind of halo to it. And although it's quite a chunky yarn, I think it's going to be perfect for spring summer. Even just on days like this, we have very cold mornings and evenings. If you're sitting in shade, you're freezing. If you're out in the sun, you're baking. So having a cardigan like this just in your handbag is just perfect. I highly recommend using a variegated yarn if you struggle with finishing projects. It's just great because you are always encouraged to finish the next row to see what it will look like. And there's so many patches of this cardigan that I love the colour combinations of. My arty background is going to come out here, but it reminds me of when you've got a wet piece of paper and you drop splashes of paint on it and you watch and you see the paint spread. It just looks like a watercolour painting and it's gorgeous. I didn't think I would like some of the splashes of yellow throughout it, but actually it looks really cool. When I saw it in the skein, and you will see in the previous video, it looks predominantly pink, but it's not. It's mostly blue. It's a very, very blue cardigan. But this was so much fun to make. Yeah, this just makes me so happy. I'm gonna get so much wear out of this in spring and summer. I don't know whether anyone else is like this, but in our office, they ramp up the air conditioning and it's like the Antarctic for most of summer. So it's quite nice to have a very summery looking garment that I can wear whilst also being warm. So I plan on getting a lot of wear out of this. I literally only finished this putting on the buttons yesterday, so I haven't worn this out yet. So yeah, maybe I'll take it out for coffee later. That'll be nice. So the second finished project that I have, well, I don't actually have that with me, it was a gift knit. It's the Rebel Soul beanie by Kuda for Kika. This was a gift knit for my nephew. I will insert a little picture of him wearing it. It turned out really lovely. It was inspired by one of his favourite football teams. I think originally he wanted the Arsenal logo on it, and I was like, I don't think I'm quite ready for that. I haven't even tried changing colours in the round yet. I think this is beyond me. So I just went for stripes, and it looks quite classic and elegant. I decided not to add a pom-pom in the end. I think because the crown sits so close, that pom-pom would have sat directly on top of his head. He would have looked like a fifth member of the Teletubbies, which I don't think is the vibe that he would really want. So yeah, I really hope he gets the wear out of it. I don't know whether other people's family members are like this, but people get really protective over their handmade gifts. They don't want to wear them. I'm like, no, please wear them because then I can make more. Like, I don't know, it's lovely that they're such special items to them. But I'm like, no, they're there to be worn and used and loved. So yeah, please wear them. So now we're going to be talking about works in progress, and I'm going to sound like Cilla Black here. Surprise, surprise. I am working on another Rebel Soul beanie. But a little bit different to the previous one. I am teaching myself how to do continental knitting, which I forgot to say, I'm quite proud of. In my cardigan, I actually did the sleeves in continental knitting. The body is worked in English style knitting, and I was really concerned that you would be able to tell the difference in the stitches, but you honestly can't, so I was really happy with that. I find it a lot easier to knit continentally, but I find purling impossible. So working on ribbing for this hat is quite good to challenge me, so that I can get better at both. This hat has 3 sections of ribbing, and then you work stockinette stitch for the top of the crown. So I'm really getting the practice, but I am a lot slower. So I had intended on having this hat finished for the beginning of April, but because I only picked this up, it's like a handbag project for me, it's very portable. I pick this up when I'm on my lunch breaks, or yesterday I was at the hairdresser's, so it's quite handy to have in your bag and just crack out a few rows. But I need to speed things up with this, otherwise it won't be ready in time, because it is a gift knit. And I'm kind of running out of time because hopefully the weather should be a bit more spring and summery, so I don't think they will need this hat quite yet. So if it turns out being a Christmas gift, so be it. But you know, it's quite good to be challenging myself to do something new. I have booked myself in for a colourwork workshop and I see that people tend to hold their yarn in their left hand to do that, so I thought if I could teach myself now, that would just make the process of learning a lot easier. So yeah, that's that. And you're going to notice a pattern of me making the same garments again. Guess what? I'm working on another novice cardigan. This time I am using a superwash yarn from Lion Brand. I think this is the Hue and Me. I'm in two minds about this. I don't know whether I love it or hate it. It's a very practical yarn that can be put in the washing machine and tumble dryer, which is a rare thing to come across, but it is feeling quite stiff to work with, whereas this lovely petite wool was honestly like butter in my needles. It was so good, but this is incredibly stiff and it's actually hurting my wrists a little bit. So last night I switched to metal needles. These are just short needles, unfortunately, rather than the long ones, but it is making a difference, just being able to work on this a little bit faster. I wasn't getting along very well with wooden, but yeah, I'm quite happy with it. So you can see I've just got the shoulder section. Hopefully very soon I will be down to the underarms and I'll be able to split for the arms and just work on the body. I did buy some buttons for this, some tortoiseshell buttons, but they actually turned out to be quite small. I didn't realise how chunky this yarn was going to be, and I just think the buttons are going to be overwhelmed. It's going to look a little bit silly. So I might need to take this to the haberdashery and hold some different buttons up against it and see what it looks like. But yeah, definitely tortoiseshell, like a burnt orange, I think would look really lovely on this bluey grey colour. I think that would be really complementary. And now to my final whip. I've been talking about this for a very, very long time. This is the Cinema Sweater by Kuda Vakika, and this is how I'm keeping my yarn organised. This is a kitchen roll holder. Some people have the fancy yarn holders. This is doing the job just as well. I am using the yarn from Yarnsmiths. This is the Merino DK and the matching Kid Silk Mohair. This is one of their new yarns, and I was very kindly gifted this to try. I've never used mohair before, like holding it together, and I was kind of a little bit scared of it because it's quite delicate and fiddly. So having something like this that keeps the yarn separate, stops it from getting tangled, is a good idea. I know that when I was casting on this, I had to do, I think it was the backwards loop method, and I think she says don't do it too tight because that first row is very difficult. And my other half came in the room as I was trying to do this, and I was like, don't talk to me. I can't talk to you. I'm so stressed. People say do knitting to relax. Oh, that was not relaxing. But once I got past that point, it was a lot easier. And this is such a squidgy fabric. It's so soft. I'm really excited to pick this back up again. I haven't worked on it this week because I'm at the point where I need to start doing German short rows. As you can see, I've added stitch markers for the raglan increases, but I just haven't started the German short rows. So the best way to describe German short rows, for those of you that don't know, with a neckline, ideally you want the front to be a lot lower than the back. So in order to do that, you need to add a chunk of fabric to the back. So what I'm going to do is just work the back of the neck, leaving the front. So that hopefully should create the lower neckline. And yeah, it's quite intimidating to read on paper, but she does have a YouTube video to accompany this pattern. You do still need to pay for the pattern in order to get your stitch counts for the correct measurement for you. But having a visual aid, it's just so useful, especially as a beginner. It just is so much less intimidating. I've watched a few of her videos now for her lace work and cable videos. I just find it really interesting to see how things are constructed. So yeah, I definitely recommend her patterns. I think she just makes things that are quite complex seem very simple and easy to understand. So yeah, definitely check out this sweater, because it's just like a classic raglan construction. I can't remember whether I said what colour I was using here, but this is the dark sage, and this is just a gorgeous colour. I wondered why I liked it, and it literally matches my bathroom. It's the same colour as all of my towels and everything. I was like, I knew I liked this yarn. I knew it was something I was interested in. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about this one, and I'm really excited to begin working on the body section. This is going to be very relaxing to knit of an evening. I'm going on holiday soon, and I just want like a simple stockinette stitch to kind of work on, nothing too complex, just so that I can pick it up by the wood burner fire and just kick back and relax. I am very excited to get stuck in with this. So now we come to the portion of the video where I chat about what I plan on casting on next. And I've got the yarn ready for this project. I'm going to be working on the Aloe top by Le Pool. Le Pool has been one of my favourite knitwear designers ever since I started learning. And I don't see people mentioning her patterns enough. They're just really interesting. The Aloe top has been on my list for a while, but due to when I started learning to knit, it was like winter, so I just didn't see the point in making this really summery top. But yeah, one of the reasons I was drawn so much to this pattern, I'll insert a picture, she just looks like a bluebell. It's gorgeous, and I knew that I wanted to kind of choose a colour that made me look like a flower too. The blue isn't necessarily very complimentary on me. So I went for the same recommended yarn. This is Drops Bell in the colour Cherry. So hopefully I still get that flower effect. It's just a cotton linen blend yarn, should be perfect for summer. I have ordered the quantity for the size medium. If you look at the pattern, I think it sits quite like high up, and I want it to ideally sit at belly button height. So I've gone for a bit more yarn for this project than she recommends for the size small. And I think it should be perfect. I'm very excited for this one. Drops Bell is an interesting yarn. The colour selection tends to be a bit more neutral and pastel colours, which isn't my kind of vibe. Ideally I would like something a little bit more brighter. This is although this is a red, it's definitely a very pinky red. I would have preferred something that was a bit more bright, like a lipstick red. So I think Sanders Gar has a cotton yarn that I had my eye on. But because I'm trying this pattern for the first time, I wanted to go for a bit more of an affordable yarn, and Drops is definitely a good yarn brand to try if you're looking at saving those pennies. So the next couple of patterns that I'm going to talk about, I don't currently have the yarn for yet, and it's very much depending on what I see in the next few months, what I cast on. But I know for sure I want to make these this summer. Firstly is the August top by Audrey Chang. I think she's Oops and Loops on Instagram. It's basically this lace work vest. I'm dying to try lace work, but I don't want anything too complex. She has these beautiful details around the neck and the waist, and along the spine as well. It's just gorgeous, but it's got enough lace that it's not too intimidating. I think she uses a sport weight yarn for this, which I've never used before. That's very, very thin. So I imagine this is going to take me quite a long time. So ideally I need to start that soon to get the wear out of it, hopefully August, September time, where we weirdly in the UK tend to have heat waves. So yeah, I definitely want to cast on that. And then next, I want to work on the Sailor Swift vest by Kuda Fakika. Honestly, she's one of my favourite knitwear designers. This is such a classic vest, and I'm a big fan of stripes. This will be my first negative ease project. So ease is something that you will come across quite a lot in patterns, and typically they will tell you. So most patterns tend to have positive ease. So you will measure your body measurements, and a positive ease will tell you how much excess fabric you have. But a negative ease will tell you how much less fabric you have. So you're going to get a much more fitted garment. So yeah, I'm planning it to be a very kind of figure hugging top where, yeah, it should be really complementary. Perfect for summer. I really love the navy and cream that she's used. But there's so many colour combinations that you could do for this, but I just know that that's going to be super classic. And I will probably purchase the Drops bell again to work with that. So yeah. If you have any summer pattern recommendations, please let me know what they are. I tend to be watching a lot of these videos right now, and I would quite like to do one myself. I'm really inspired at the minute by summer patterns, and I know that I don't have all the time in the world to make some of these, but it'd be really good to share some of the patterns that I've had my eye on and that are just really inspiring me at the minute. So thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. It would be lovely if you could give this video a little like and subscribe if you would like to see more. Like I said, I'm hoping to make some spring summer inspired videos very soon. So if that sounds like your kind of cup of tea, subscribe so you don't miss out. If you're looking for more regular knitting and crochet content, go and follow me over on Loopy Pasta, where I share illustrations and yeah, tips, things like that. Yeah, go and check it out. I would love to see you over there. I hope you have a lovely day and we'll catch up soon. Take care.